Good evening and welcome to the PSGL Round 7 of the F5 series within the PlayStation ladder. Takes us to the Shanghai International Circuit in China. I'm Tom Kent in the commentary position, and alongside me is good boy Logan. How are you tonight, sir?
Did you just call me good boy Logan?
Oh, good man, Logan, however you want to put it.
Oh, apparently 24 years old as a boy considering this. Anyway, I'm doing fantastic tonight, and we are in China, which is fantastic because the tickets are dirt cheap. Unless it's being suspended in real life. But we have the real deal here tonight in F5. Just like 2020, we're still racing virtually. We're racing at the Shanghai International Circuit, built for the 2004 Formula One Grand Prix in China for the first time, and it was won by the lovely Rubens Barrichello, which would be his last win for Ferrari, sadly. This course has been unchanged, I believe, throughout its entire history. It is designed by the legendary Hermann Tilke, because why not? No one else can design a track better than him, so we're just going to stick with Hermann Tilke. We should make some updates about last week, which was mayhem. Tom, give us the lowdown on what happened in the steward's office, can you?
I'll do my best as qualifying is about to start. Well, in terms of the race win, that was unchanged. Chris Hellett won on the road to take victory. He did pick up a time penalty, I believe, but that didn't affect the race result due to the other penalties that were dished out. So in terms of who got what, since that there's so many, I won't go through every single one. But in terms of how the results were decided, Hallett won ahead of Yanetsky, and believe it or not, for the first time in 3 seasons, Lakitu got himself onto the podium. He didn't think it would wait that long to take a podium finish, but I'm sure he'll have taken it any day of the week. So very well done to him there. So in terms of which penalties are the most significant ones, I think Azam trots back after he got involved in a collision with Demangel. And Yannick, I think, lost a number of positions through multiple collisions of which he was involved in as well. So, yeah, that's in terms of the championship. It is now 9 points because there was a change of leader after Hallett won, and the championship leader before the event had started, Skyline, finished in 10th place.
Yeah. So it was quite an unusual ending to the race, of course, ending it in Parc Fermé, but still, it was won by Chris Hallett, despite all the madness happening, and Chris Hallett was fantastic in that race, I'd have to say. As we had the Mangle leave for a second, and he's back now, which is good, so that's a good sign. Yes, and one more thing, speaking of this game, the signing up for the playtesting of the beta test of F123 is now out now. You can sign up by Friday, and you could be selected to test the next year's game, which is probably, without the skins and the new circuits, probably going to be the same as last time. Okay, I kid. It's probably not, but still, it'll be something to look forward to. It's a good sign that the game is coming up nice and well. As we are beginning our qualifying lap here with Miguel out on the track first, of course, doing his reconnaissance lap before, or is it his out lap? I get the reconnaissance thing mixed up. But anyway, it's his out lap, and he'll be making his way through the 5 and something kilometers track we have here tonight. It is a 5.45 kilometer track with a race record of one fast lap record of 1:32.238 set by Michael Schumacher in its first race in 2004. And I thought De La Rosa's record was long enough, but no. Most of the records were probably set in 2004 or 2005 because that's when the cars were the fastest.
Well, were they though? Because the Turbo Hybrid cars and the
Oh
sort
yes,
of
2020.
improved downforce as well. There's that to consider. I think 2017 to 2020 was a sort of period where the track records very much improved a lot on most of the circuits.
Oh yes.
So I'm sure it was broken in Shanghai. I'm just looking to see what the record is. I think it was in 2019 where the track record was done. Now, in terms of Michael Schumacher's record in 2004, that would have been the race lap record. The track record is still saying 132, but I'm sure it's better than that. Because I think Lewis Hamilton got that with his pole position in, or was it Valtteri Bottas in 2019? Let's have a look. So of course that was incidentally Formula One's 1000th World Championship Grand Prix event. Valtteri Bottas got pole position then, 131.5. So I would want to say that that is the track record, unless I'm mistaken.
Oh yes, because they don't take into account qualifying. And yes, they haven't raced here since. It will be 5 years if they hold it next year. It'll be 5 years since the last races. It's quite crazy. Kind of like I think it was Nürburgring had to wait 7 years to host its next race, and that was due to COVID. Funnily enough, its return was due to COVID. But anyway, we are seeing Miguel going to be the first driver to cross the line. He's still inbounds at the track, coming round the last corner, which is quite easy to go wide on and invalidate. Crosses the line. 1:32.909 here, the first lap set as he goes under. Oh, and DeMangle has already went out of the session. I have no idea what has happened. It looks like he's retired in the pit lane.
He's got
looks fit, Tom.
He's got a quali ban over him because of the retiring
Oh
on
yeah,
track.
of course he does. That's why. I do apologise. I completely forgot about that. Oh well.
Been good to see him in the running for pole position, but given his quali ban for
Yes.
retiring on circuit in Baku 7 days ago, that put paid to that. So Skyline is on track as Coleman goes fastest. It is early days in qualifying, so we are expecting the track to pick up. But we go on board with Skyline as it takes us through turn 12 and then through the long gradient sweeper, almost like a speedway type corner if you want to put it in those terms, of turn 13. And now it's down the long back straight, one of the longest on the calendar, if not the longest, but I think Baku has a longer straight than what Shanghai has. Yannick goes to the top, and when Skyline got out of shape, will he complete the lap or will he just duck for the pit lane, get another set of tyres on? No, he'll go and complete the lap, so it's at least a banker, but he did lose time on the exit of turn 14, he only goes 8th fastest, so there's definitely some work to do for him with that one. We've got Azam on a lap, Lakito has made a mistake on his lap, Cherno's lap is invalidated, and Leon is also coming towards the end of a lap, so he'll be the next driver over the line, Logan.
Yes, he will. Coming to the final corner, don't do what Cherno did, he does not, so he has avenged his teammate and he crossed the line in 8th. I'm sure he'll have a lot of work to improve on there, down in 8th. The worst time currently is Joey, and I'm assuming that's just a banker. Well, it's quite close to an actual time. 2 minutes and 1. I think he's just going for another lap here, or is he just coming in? I think he's might be coming in. I think his time's too slow to be going on a flyer here. I think he'll be pitting from here. Azam just behind him actually is on a lap. So this is kind of if you were watching the snooker earlier, you know what happened. We'll not mention it. This is probably what's going to cover it for now. After we won't mention it, but if you know, you know. Oh, and Joey's just hit the wall in the pit entrance. I am not kidding. He just literally just hit the wall, and that's his session over, and his time is going to be outside the 100% rule, which means he is not going to be, I'm joking, he will get to take part, but he will be starting at the back unless one of these drivers behind him do not set a lap. We got, oh, and DeMangle, actually no, DeMangle will be in last, because he didn't set a time, of course he has a quali ban. But that means the drivers behind him, I know it's quite unfair they don't sort the drivers on how many laps they've done. If they've not done a lap, they should be, in my honesty, just randomized. Unless they've like retired early, then that's when they're ordered by grid position. But that's the way the game is, I'm afraid. Nothing much we can do. It'd be a good suggestion to put to Codemasters or an EA for the next game, but for now it's what I've got to make do with. Only two drivers on track, sorry. We've got Yanetsky and Azam. Yanetsky got second place last week on penalties. He barely got second place because of the close photo finish he had at the line. And we've got Azam about to complete a lap. I think this is an in-lap though, so the only drivers on out-lap, actually a lot of our drivers on the out-lap. Lakitu's just come out. Yanetsky about to start his lap. So 10 minutes to go, and we're just going to get the second lap of runs started.
Yanetsky will go on for a lap with him of this 5.4 kilometre Shanghai International Circuit. As you look towards turn 1, get the telemetry up. It's very, very tricky in the sense of how you nail the apex here, but you just slowly go down the gears, and then as you approach turn 2, you go back up into 4th gear, then down to 3rd again, 90 kilometres an hour as you go over the apex through turn 4. Don't apply the throttle too much, especially with these cars, and now you approach the next braking zone of turn 6, down to 3rd gear, then to 4th as you go through the apex there, then up to 5th and then 6th. And then through the sweeping left and right of 7 and 8th in 6th. And down to 5th for the right-hander of 8. And now as you approach turn 9, very, very tricky to negotiate through. Turns 9 and 10, no problem. Taking all the curb on the exit. As you straighten the car up for the next braking point of turn 11. It's a 90-degree left-hander and then another 90-degree right-hander, which takes you towards the fast turn 13. Very easy to lose it here if you are unlucky and apply too much throttle through here. And now it's down the back straight, DRS open. Using all the ERS you can use over the course of a lap here in Shanghai. Then you brake in a straight line and you begin to turn the car in. The car was a little reluctant to turn in there as the front right refused to turn in because of a lockup. Then into the last turn of 16. And that will complete a lap of this circuit of Shanghai. Third fastest for Yanetsky, as he is over a couple of tenths away from pole position, but that was a neat and tidy lap time there from the Ferrari driver.
Indeed it was. Up to third, Yanetsky goes, and that will be a pretty good time to set, and he may improve on it. He might be up there with Chris Hallett in first. Yannick, who is trying to redeem himself after his penalty from last time. I've actually not got the standings up. Silly me, I've come unprepared. Oops. Yes, he's still trying to get into this title race, but it looks like with a few rounds to go, it's going to be quite tough to get some ground made up. I should mention who's on a lap. We've got Kyle Sarrett about to cross the line and start his lap. Coleman.
He's going over the line now. What lap time? He goes to pole.
Whoa!
And there we go. That's the first sub 132 lap time there as Kuhlmann goes off track just to make sure he stays out of the way of the other drivers. We've got some more drivers heading over the line. Nikita goes 7th fastest in the Williams, looking to continue his form from last week. Skyline is coming towards the end of a lap. He's 600s up by sector 2. This is where he made a mistake from earlier on, so he expects it to be a 132 at least, should Skyline keep it together within the last corner, which he does so. It's a 132.0 and he goes 3rd fastest, so that's the kind of lap time we were expecting from the man in 2nd place in the championship. We've got the Ferrari of Yanetsky, I think, is just going into the pit lane. Alex is up there in 6th place, so he's just done a lap. Kyle is on a lap in the AlphaTauri. He's a 10th up by sector 2. And we've got El Pelota, who is also on the lap, going into turn 14 now. As we are on board with it. He's in a Ferrari this week instead of a McLaren because I think is he in the reserve driver, El Pelota? I can't quite remember. But either way, he's in the Ferrari this week. Perhaps he wanted a change of car, just even better luck, but it's not a representative lap time. He goes only 13th. We'll go back to Kyle because he is coming round the last corner now. And where is he going to end up here? He goes 6th fastest, so up a position from before. 6 minutes remaining. And Hallett goes to the top, and that's a good lap time, 1:31.7. So that gives Coleman and Skyline something to scratch their heads about, because they'll be thinking, how has he managed to find all that time from wherever he's managed to find it. Cherno is coming round to complete. Well, it looks like he was going to complete his first flying lap, but it's not going to be a representative one. He's gone in the pit lane anyway. L-Place has gone for a spin on his out lap, or his in lap, I should say. So he's not going to be improving anytime soon. Who else is on fast laps? Well, Leon is coming around the last corner now. And it's not a lap time.
Starting a lap.
Yeah, he's just starting a lap now. Who else is on a lap? Well, Azam's just started a lap.
I think they're all done theirs.
Yeah, I think they must have all done their second runs, by the looks of it. Although El Pelota is, well, would have been on a flying lap, but he just pushed too hard at turn 7. Hence why the car had spun round. You may have seen a quick picture of him.
He had 0.4 fuel left, so he's oh right, you're talking a lap before. I'm sorry. Yes. I was about to say, if we were talking about the current lap, he was out of fuel. He's got no fuel left. But yeah, it seems by that, looking at that lap time, he probably did make a mistake on his flyer, so he'll have to come in. At least he's on the board. At least he won't be starting last. But Sherno needs to get a lap in, or the computer will make him start last. And Demango will gain a place despite having a quali ban. So everyone's coming in the pits. We have 4 minutes and 20 seconds, blaze it, left in the section. And you stay tuned. We've got the last lap from all these drivers here in qualifying. I should also mention, the track's got much brighter. It's much more sunnier now. It's starting to clear up.
See some better lap times then, as the cars will be preparing to go for their final runs in qualifying here in Shanghai. It is an abrasive surface, is the track. It's not designed like it would be on a street circuit. It is a permanent racetrack, so the track does fall away from you, or the grip does fall away from time to time, depending on what compound of tyre you are on. I believe it's the C1, C2 and C3 that the drivers are using here, although I could well be wrong. But although Formula 1 didn't race in Shanghai in 2022 because of COVID. So, but there you go. It was meant to be on it, but it is a DLC circuit that Codemasters had discreetly decided to add in.
That's Portimao as well.
Yeah, there's Portimao as well. And don't know for certain what DLC circuits are going to be added into F1. I'd imagine it's going to be I'd imagine it's going to be Paul Ricard and Shanghai. I would expect Shanghai to be in there as one of the DLC
Portimao
circuits.
as well, please.
And maybe Portimao as well, but we'll leave that for Codemasters to decide. They're just going out for their last runs now, as Coleman is followed out of the pit lane by Skyline. Less than 3 minutes to go, so we should expect to see a flurry of cars heading out. So get out of the garage, out of the pit lane by around about 1 minute 45 seconds to go. That's probably what we're expecting. We won't obviously see Jerry or Demangle on circuit. Cherno is out on circuit now as well, as is Miguel, as is Azam, as is Kyle. Heading out.
All to play for now.
All to play for now, indeed. Coleman looking very, very quick so far. How would you sum up Coleman's performances so far this season? Because he seems to be making it very, very convincing in terms of his qualifying form. But in regards to the race form, it can't quite be said the same, can it?
Yeah, I think that's where he has to touch up, because he has had his best performance has been 5th. He hasn't made the podium, not even 4th. And it's a shame because he has had a pole position here at Bahrain, but he only tied his best performance this season of 5th. And of course, Chris Hallett won. It was it was no safety cars in that race either, right? I think you remember he had a couple of problems during the race as well. Can't remember what they are because, of course, life goes by in a flash. I should mention, I don't think we've talked about these drivers' forms here at China, have we? Very few drivers have actually been here. Yeah, that's right. As Kuhlman is starting his lap, this will be the last lap of the session for him. Yeah, not many, because this track has not appeared since season, I think it was 29. Yep. 29.
And the last
game.
one...
El Piloter, Flying Dutch Roger, who is, I don't believe, here tonight. No, he's not here tonight. Lakitu, Joey, and Boyter's not here tonight either. They're the only drivers that have raced here before. Only El Piloter has one, and that was in F8. Actually, no. Boita and Roger have never raced here. Actually, have they?
Despite competing in the championship, I labelled it
No.
as not applicable because they did race in the championship that
All right,
season. They did
sorry.
at least one race, but didn't do that particular race that season. Um,
Yeah,
but
it's
either
just three
way,
drivers.
so it's just three drivers that have raced here before. They're El Pelota, Lakitu, and Joey. So Lakitu's got a sixth place
Now
finish here, which
one.
is not too bad. In F2 it was in season 26. That was the last time other than season 29 that the PSGL had raced here in the championship. We'll stay with Coleman because he's about to complete his last lap. So how will he do here? Didn't see how he was getting on in the first or the second sectors, but
Neither did
as he's
I.
going over the top line now, he's way off actually. So
Oh,
knowing,
way off.
yeah, way off from where he was before. We'll go to Kyle because he is coming around to complete his final lap.
Airport
Miguel,
spun.
yeah, Miguel has gone over the line and is only 7th at the moment. Azim only P8. Can Kyle move up the order? Maybe. Yes, he can. Goes up to 5th. So that's a good effort from him.
Cherno.
So Cherno
Crossing
is
the
coming over the
line.
line. Only 10th fastest for him. And
On the bar.
Skyline's gone in the pits, so we're not going to be seeing him improving. Alex is coming round the last corner now.
Yannick's in.
Yeah, Alex is up to P7, so that's not too bad of a lap time. Yanetsky has improved through sector 2, but has he improved even more in the last sector? That was a
Big
huge
slide.
twitch. That was a huge twitch, and that's cost him
6.
time. So no improvement from him. We'll stay with
got
Lakit.
it.
Yeah, so Boyer has gone up to 9th. Hallett doesn't improve his lap time, but he doesn't need to. He looks to have got pole position pretty much secure. Lakitu does improve his time, but stays in 13th place, and El Plater had spun on his last effort. So at the end of
means...
yeah, so I was going to say at the end of qualifying, it is Chris Hallett who has ended with pole position for the second week running. No points for that, of course, but it's given him the edge over Coleman and Skyline for sure.
Yep, and that will be music to his ears, and it will be an absolute earworm for Skyline, who is currently 9 points off after the turnaround for Chris Hallett at Azerbaijan, who took back a massive lead and made a massive lead of his own. So if Hallett gets a big points difference tonight over Skyline, he could run away with this championship. But of course, there's 5 rounds to go, including this one. So let's see how it unfolds in the race.
So run down on your result then in qualifying. Hallett on pole by less than a 10th over Coleman in second place. Then it's Skyline and Yannick on the second row, followed by Kyle and Yanetsky, with Leon and Alex in 7th and 8th. Boyer and Miguel round out the top 10 ahead of Azim and Cherno. Lakitu was the last of those with representative lap times. El Plater will start 14th ahead of Joey, and Dimangle didn't set a time at all. So that's your 16 drivers for the start of the race, as we are looking to be embracing for a cracking Chinese Grand Prix. I hope we do see a lot of action during the course of this one. It's a 28 lap race coming up. I will give a mention to PSGL's title sponsor of GT Omega. You can use PSGL at the checkout for 5% off on GT Omega products. So if you think about purchasing a gaming chair or wheel or whatever it may be, gloves, then you do make sure you use that discount as well, because it is very much worth getting something from there. There are also the links to PSGL's social media platforms, including Twitter and Instagram. There's a Discord in case you want to get involved and request to get involved in the PSGL, either as a driver or as an admin or as a commentator, like what me and Logan are. And of course there's the website as well, so you can keep right up to date with everything that's happening within the PSGL. It is in its 33rd season since it began all the way back in 2010. And we're just waiting to go. There's no formation up for your information, so we'll be going straight to lights out. So as we prepare for the start here in Shanghai. In terms of race strategy, we are expecting a lot of them to start on the hard tyre and then go on to the mediums, although others may decide to do something a little bit different. But as we are ready to go for the start here in Shanghai, 28 laps lie ahead of the drivers on this 5.4 kilometre circuit here in Shanghai. The 5 red lights are coming on. When they go out, we'll be racing. It's lights out, and away we go. Coleman got the better start, I think, than Hallett did, and he's through into the lead before they get to turn one, so Coleman is ahead. Hallett has to start in behind, ahead of Skyline, and Skyline looks to the inside. Can the Red Bull driver move ahead of his championship rival? He looks to have done, into turn two, and he's taking it. There's a little bit of wheel-to-wheel banging, but it looks like Skyline's got the upper hand, although Hallett is fighting back. Coleman is ahead of Hallett and Skyline as they come towards turn six. Yep. So as they come towards turn 6 now, Skyline on the inside of Chris Hallett. Contact made a little bit between the pair of them, but Skyline is ahead. So Hallett, the pole sitter, is down to third place behind his championship rival Skyline.
And Yannick's right behind him. Here he comes, but no, he's not going to get it at this corner. A brilliant move on by Skyline for second place. Coleman takes the lead, but can he hold it? He hasn't been able to hold it. We had a couple of spinners at the first few corners. Lakitu and Miguel spun at the third corner, I believe, and they're down to 15th and 16th last, respectively. Yannick just chasing down Chris Hallett like he had last week, as he comes with a very, 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 very long straight. And I say very that many times to emphasize how long this straight is. And how wide it is as well, I must mention. Lots of action to be had here. No DRS for the first few laps. We've got a battle between Boyer and Azam. This for ninth position, heading into the corner.
There's contact.
Dear, these went too deep. And Azam, Alex the G has unfortunately been the unfortunate victim of that incident, and it looks like Azam has went in and paid a pit stop visit, as now Alex G gets back to work and past El Piloto. This is a good recovery drive from Alex G already, and restarting as El Piloto gets squeezed out, but he'll try and squeeze it. Oh, and he's collided with Alex the G. That's the second incident in 30 seconds for the Red Bull driver, as his teammate lingers in second place. Alex the G struggling in this battle with El Piloto. He's already up tonight, but El Piloto was not happy with that move. He wants revenge! Into the corner they go! And a side-by-side coming out of it! And he gets the move done very nicely, just like a teammate did, and we've got a yellow flag. I'm not sure what the incident there is, but it's gone instantly, so we'll just ignore that. But it looks like in 9/10 lead for the Alfa Romeo driver, it's Coleman, followed by Skyline, Chris Harrett, and Yannick and Leon. Yanetsky has a 4/10 gap, and El Piloto has spun and is falling down the order as I speak. That's at turn 10. Turn 10, and Azam and Demango are the only ones ahead, and it's not been El Piloto's brilliant start at all. It's been the complete opposite. The only driver here who has won here before is really struggling to.
Yeah, it's very much so, and he's had a race to forget so far. He had a tough time with it in qualifying. Maybe this circuit may not actually be his best, especially with these cars. I mean, on season 29, where he had won in F8, that was done on the F1 2021 game, so the cars would have been different that then. So maybe the circuit not his liking with these cars nowadays. They are ground effects after all. But the third lap has begun, which means DRS is now enabled. Joey has gone for a spin on the exit of the last turn, but has continued. Demangle was in the pits for a change of front wing as well. So I don't think he's gone onto a set of hards. I think Lakit. Oh no, he has. He started on the hards and he's on the mediums now. The only drivers that started on the mediums were Azam, who's pitted for the hards, and Nikita, who's running in 11th place. So Coleman is in the lead, with Skyline in second place, and it's Hallett, Yannick, Leon in fifth, looking for his first points of the season still. Yanetsky in sixth, followed by Carzello, ahead of Boyolulu, Alex and Cherno are the rest of your top 10. There's a long way to go yet, plenty of time for things to change. Well, I can say that Coleman is not out of DRS territory yet. He's 7/10 clear of Skyline, so Skyline is going to have an advantage with the DRS open on this long back straight. Coleman will need to be on his toes. How much ERS has he used so far? Well, he's only on around 70% on his, you can see on his dashboard a little bit, as Skyline's used up about 20% more, if about 40% more than what Coleman's done. So Skyline's going to have to be a little bit frugal with the ERS and just rely on the DRS for now to close in on the race leader.
Kind of like where I am with my finances. And Skyline has closed the gap to 4.5 tenths. It's just another DRS straight coming right here as we make our way out of the final corner, as we go under the interesting architecture here at China for the grandstand. You've got two massive, what looks like gantries, right with a stand in between. It's quite the work of art, I'd have to say, from whoever designed that. Do not ask me who it is because I have absolutely no clue. As we say, the gap has somewhat increased. Coolman has it better in the first sector. Skyline now 6 tenths down. No DRS here either, as El Pelota and Joey dueling on their own for, oh dear, and El Pelota pushes Joey somewhat off the track. He pushes himself off as well, as Joey tries to chase him down again. Joey fighting like it's life for him for 13th
Oh dear, that's
place. Oh
naughty.
dear, that is very naughty. And Joey will be absolutely furious. El Pelota, I don't know what's gone in his mind tonight, but he's lost the plot with that. And I've got it on camera too, so good luck trying to explain that, El Pelota, not to be rude.
Yeah, there must have been banging wheels beforehand, hence why I think El Pelota behaved in the way he did. Not that I'm condoning it, as Joey retires on circuit, and I think he'll be in trouble with the stewards after, because he was retired on circuit, hasn't he?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to unmute. Yeah, I should mention, by the way, sorry, Skyline is almost got Coolman, and look who's behind him, Tom. Chris Hallett is getting into the game. This battle, it's only lap 5, but there really is a battle on for the lead. I should say a 4-way, maybe 5 if they get closer, even 6. Skyline is right up to him, but he just can't seem to make the move stick. He's going to try something very cheeky around the first few corners here. It doesn't look like he's going to, and I wouldn't blame him. It's not the ideal time to do it. He's supposed to do it later on in the race. But he's got to watch out. Can't be too careful. Chris Hallett is waiting his turn to pounce. Isn't going to make a move there. I don't think it was very wise to. But every lap they go round and just keep it together, the entire field would just come back and stack right behind them, waiting their turn to pounce. So they've got to be careful here. Well, in one way, but they've got to be careful in another way, not to be too careful, if you know what I mean.
Coolman still keeping on with the race leader, but the gap is down to 4 tenths. So I would say that Skyline's going to be very much looking to have a go, but will he decide to go for it now? Because the thing is, if they start battling, those behind will start closing in more. So they need to play it very sensibly here, the pair of them. Although I think Skyline is within range, I think, to definitely go for it here, because he's well within a tenth or so, and he's got the DRS open. And I think Skyline is going to take over the lead in the Chinese Grand Prix. What will Coleman do to respond to that? He sensibly sits in behind, although Skyline's done a little bit too deep into turn 14, but got the car slowed down as Coleman slots in behind as the field goes around the last corner. So Skyline is your outright race leader. Coleman sits in behind in this DRS crocodile, if you want to call it, or a DRS train, however you want to call it, or a DRS snake. We're going to be coming up with different sort of adjectives, aren't we? A DRS train, a DRS snake, a DRS crocodile, all sorts of things that some people may refer to as. But either way, Skyline is your race leader, as we've got 6 cars actually within about a couple of seconds or so. So we could see any of them on the top set by the end of this race.
2 seconds. 2 seconds is the gap between 6th and first. It's like Silverstone 2022, where there were 5 cars fighting for second place. It's just a shame that it went to Perez after all that. But anyway, Skyline is your new leader, ahead of Coleman. Chris Hallett is being hunted down by Yannick. The rivalry continues between those two. And Yanetsky looking for a move on Leon, who had some dismal luck last week. Attempted a brave move, but then got crashed into, I should say, and that was the abrupt end of his Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So here we come down the long straight again. Is it's Coleman going to plot something suspicious for Skyline? Doesn't look like it. In fact, it's more Chris Hallett's going for a move. And Coleman senses danger right next to him. And here comes Chris Hallett, and they're all right behind Skyline as I try to get a decent move. They're side by side coming out of the corner. It doesn't look like he's going to make the move stick yet, but he's very close and he's very well set up for the DRS coming out of this turn. Final turn off the track. But remember, Coleman's got it too. Is Chris Hallett going to try something down the inside or around the outside of these first few corners here? Keeping it nice and orderly by the looks of it. But he might go out of line here and try a move, but he doesn't going to do that yet. As Yannick starting to lose a bit of ground on Chris Hallett as he gets closer and closer to Coleman, and there is a car round. I think there's Kyle Sarrett has been looks like pushed off. It doesn't look like he was spun around as Chernow gets past.
Boyer's lost his front wing, Logan. His front wing's completely gone as Yannick's got past Hallett now for third position into turn 7. He must have got a better exit than the McLaren, and he's gone through into third place. So as it stands with the championship, Skyline would collect 16 championship points, Hallett would collect only 8, so the gap in the title race would come down to 1 point. But there's still a long way to go yet in this one.
Music to the ears of Skyline. If he gets the fastest lap, they'll be tied, but Chris Hallett will lead on countback with 3 wins to 2. So as now this dynamic's all changed now for Chris Hallett. He ain't fighting for a win anymore. He's also fighting for his championship lead. As if Leon passes him, this will be the worst case scenario. Skyline will take the lead unless Chris Hallett gets the fastest lap. In a hypothetical scenario, as Yannick in very close to Skyline and Coleman, I should say. But it doesn't going to work as Leon has a look at Chris Hallett, and Chris Hallett has a bit of a slide out of that corner. Very closely knit as we complete the 25% of this race. And the clouds are starting to gather, or were they already there? I'm not sure, but yes, they still remain very close knit, and if they keep battling like this, Alex the G will join in the fun. As we have the Boyolulu and Sarrett pitting for damage due to their incident recently. I'll take Epilota into the points.
And Kyle's out.
Chris Hallett, and no, Kyle's out. Kyle is out of the race, so we have our second casualty tonight. Oh, I just noticed. I didn't notice that Joy retired from the race.
He did. He retired on the circuit.
It's just not been. Oh, he did. Oh, right. That changes things. That might be a penalty. Demangle got one last week for a qualifying ban for that, and that will surely probably be the case for Joey as well.
I think what's happened as well, Logan, is that Boyer's lost his front wing, and by doing so he ran into the back of Kyle as they went into turn 3, hence why Kyle spun round and suffered rear wing damage, which is a terrible shame. I think once that rear wing damage is there, it's very much game over at that point, because you can't get it repaired in a race like this. So Kyle is out of the race, no points for him. I think that's his first non-finish of the season, as far as I can remember. No, he's retired before in Singapore, did Kyle. So out of 6 races, out of 6 starts, that's his second DNF of the campaign. So back to the front as Skyline looks to... Oh, that was very defensive. He had to go through that.
As made a mistake.
Yeah, well, Coleman's right on his tail now, and we're looking to take over the lead again as they come towards turn 1 now. So Coleman on the inside of the Red Bull, and he's got back into the lead of the race. Coleman takes it nicely. Now, what about Yannick? Is he fancying a go as well? Maybe at turn 6 as they come round to it. Skyline settles in behind, but he can't be too complacent because there's the Aston Martin looming in behind, waiting for an opportunity to get past. As they go through the kink of 5, is Yannick going to go for it? It's too far back, I think. So he settles in behind in 3rd place. Hallett will be watching this, but he can't afford to sit back too much as he knows that a race win is falling away from him. He will know that Skyline needs every point he can get to stay in the championship fight realistically.
Oh, and they really are starting to get close again. I mean, look at this. I'd just like to call F1 out, the real F1 that is. Look at this. Look at this. Why can't we have this every week? I know because every team builds their own car differently. You need best car driver package, but look at this. This is fantastic. I know it's only lap 9, and it's only just the start of things to come, but this looks fantastic. If anyone makes a mistake, that will change the whole race, and it's so dramatic when it happens. And you know what? It could happen again, as even though Coleman has built a big lead up, looks like half a second, it's coming down by the second thanks to DRS, as Skyline's cut the gap down in more than half to about a quarter of a second. Well, will extend again though, as Coleman looks much faster in the corners. Leon Janetsky still in the battle as well. You know, if any crazy things happen up ahead, they could take the lead perhaps in a hypothetical scenario. Alex G needs to catch up though. I think it's going to be the pit stops that matter here. If someone performs an undercut and they have an absolute fantastic banker, if you know someone's pushing, you know someone will be pushing. I think Skyline might try the undercut, which is quite risky because he's got a lot of like dirty air in front of him when he's not got DRS. But he really needs to consider, and all the drivers, in fact, behind him should consider when to undercut or possibly overcut if they feel a little brave, or even go a different strategy. Maybe they might just do a long stint on hards and maybe softs, which is quite dangerous because the softs absolutely get shredded here in China. Don't know why that is, but that's the nature of the track. The gap's starting to increase, though, half a second between first and second and third, Tom.
Coleman is half a second clear as they come towards the DRS detection point. Coleman going on the lead there, but gets away with it. So it's I don't want to say it's settling down because we are still seeing overtakes left, right and centre, but it's getting to a point where the drivers are sort of settling a little bit, not battle too much, and just preserve tyre life for when they do pit in. Now, who decides to pit in first? Because I'd imagine the undercut is going to be very effective here, given how many corners we've got here in Shanghai.
Yeah, a lot of turns. I should mention there are 16. And they've remained the same, as I said, all this before. And that would look like a mistake from Coleman. He's lost a bit of time. As we begin lap 11 here, all of these drivers have done 10 laps on these hard tyres. Should be thinking, what, lap 17, lap 18 they might be coming in? Okay, maybe that's a bit harsh. Maybe 15, 16. But some people, if they're feeling brave, could extend and possibly go the hard softs, which is very risky considering how fast they go away. I should mention Lakito is pitting. He was one of the two drivers that started on medium tyres. I think it was medium tyres.
Yeah.
Yes, and he is making his pit stop, and this will be for hards. Borlulu sets the fastest lap, but he's outside the top 10, so that will not matter as it stands. Coleman is 4 tenths ahead of Skyline, as we probably have the most orderly fashioned lineup in the whole season so far. In fact, so orderly, they've got the top 6 all keeping closely knit. No one's run away and broke away from the field. It's all to play for, and Lakito's just done a spin. He's not got used to these hard tyres, and that is very costly. His alternate strategy, well, if he had one, that was, has failed at looks of it, as we have Skyline closing up to Coleman. He's going to make a move. No, he's not. You always get this feeling when they come very close, they're going to make a move, especially in this long straight, but it just isn't happening today, Tom.
No, I mean, Skyline's got... I'm sure he's got what it takes, but he's just waiting for the opportunity. What he doesn't want to do is waste ERS and tyre life trying to get past someone and then failing at that moment, because that's what will cost him later on. So he's just waiting it out. I think he'll have to decide. Well, it'll be a game of chess, as it always is in a tier like this one, because you wait for someone to pit in, although this could really give Coleman the advantage in a way, because he's the leader of the pack, so he may have first say on who decides to pit in. Although if Skyline decides, you know what, I'm going to take a risk here and pit in early to catch whoever it is that he's battling without, and then complete the undercut that way. The only thing that could change it is if we get a safety car in between all that.
Yes, indeed, and the safety car will change the game entirely, especially for the front runners. And to be fair, if there's a safety car close to the end, it'll be more acceptable because they've all been close knit anyway. So these drivers pretty much on equal footing as we speak, all on the same tyres. Oh, and Skyline nearly made a mistake there. 8 temps. Now the gap, Coleman starting to capitalise on Skyline's mistakes and has doubled his lead since the start of the lap. Now it was 4 temps, it's now 8 temps. It could be more, but it closes down with the help of the DRS as they all bunch up once again. Alex, by the way, is still 4 seconds down Yanetsky. He's not going anywhere. He's lingering down in 7th. So is Cherno in 8th. And Epiloda needs to catch up in 9th. Miguel and Temps sneak into the points, 10 seconds ahead of Demago, who is on medium tyres since lap 3. And back there, Lucky to 10 seconds down, but he's on a new set of tyres as the leaders pummel through the first few turns once again. It's Coleman in the lead, but we're already just halfway through the race. It's still all play for here at Shanghai.
Yep, and the sun is coming out as well, so I doubt that we're going to be seeing any rain. I think if there was rain, we wouldn't have seen drivers starting race on the mediums, i.e. Lakito and Azim. Alex has lost connection there, which is very bad news for his race, so I just hope he does get back in very, very quickly. He is running in 7th place for the moment, although Cherno should get past him any time now. But Skyline just waiting it out, not taking too many risks, but he just needs to be wary of Yannick. I think that is what he needs to focus on for the time being, because Yannick is closer to him than Skyline is to Coleman.
Yes. So, coming in once again, the long straight awaits, and Yannick is 3/10 behind Skyline. That's his his esports teammate, as I should say. I say esports teammate. They've got VIR in their names. So is Leon. So we've got 3 VIR drivers represented as clears. Oh, and I'll tell you why Alex has lost a lot of time. He actually disconnected, and looks who's behind him. Cherno coming through, and will be handed 7th place on a plate. As, oh, we're in! They're in! They're all pitting. Coleman and Skyline are in. Yannick's now in the lead, ahead of Chris Hallett and Leon, and Yanetsky's also pit as well. So Cherno and Alex G will go 4th and 5th respectively. Scratch that, 5th and 4th respectively, as Alex G gets back at Cherno and takes 4th place from him. But Cherno's not going to be hanging around for long. He wants to get past again, as let's see who gets ahead, all on mediums, of course. Coleman will come out in 8th, and in front of Skyline is Miguel, and Miguel, is he going to be the Ministry of Defence for Alfa Romeo? I think he might. Look at this. This might be a plan from Miguel. Oh dear. Tom, what am I witnessing?
Yeah, well, this is the part where I think Skyline could end up losing some time. He may have to make a dive bomb or something into turn 11 or somewhere like that. You can see Coleman's pulling away, so his teammate Miguel is holding up Skyline during the course of Skyline's outlap. So this is a really pivotal point in the race. What will Yannick and Chris Hallett decide to do now? Because this is a huge important part in the race, and I think Hallett may get the move on Yannick done here as he goes to the inside into turn 14, and that is the championship leader
move.
Go back into the lead on the track. But will he be in the lead by the time his pit stop is done? They're both in. So Hallett and Yannick are responding, and Yannick, I think, ran into the back of Hallett as they came into the pits.
Wait. Oh dear, that's not what you want to do, and it's not the pit entry. Technically, it's just a lead into the pits. The pit entry, technically, that's the limiter line, is just after it, just before the finish line, and they're both in, and it's going to be medium tires for both, and Alex G's in as well. He's not pit. Leon is not pit yet. He's doing the overcut. So this is quite interesting from Leon. Meanwhile, Skyline has passed Miguel, and he has come out behind Chris Hallett, and Skyline has also passed Miguel. Well, he already passed Miguel. He's already passed Yannick. He is past Alex the G as well, so he's in 6th place right now, and behind Hallett, who's just pit. So this wasn't good for Skyline at all, but even worse, Chris Hallett is now 2 seconds behind. It's Coleman, who's trying to overtake Epiloder. Oh, Epiloder! What is he doing? He was under scrutiny for a crash earlier, and now he's just holding up the net race leader, and now he's fighting him on track. What is Epiloder doing here? Epiloder playing spoiler. He's got past him, but that's not good for Coleman. I think Chris Hallett has a chance at getting back ahead, but remember, Epiloder is going to get DRS from this, but he has older tyres.
Well, is he going to get DRS though? Because I think Coleman was... Oh yeah, he has. He has got DRS. I was just going to say, I think, yeah, so Coleman is ahead, but is Chris Hallett going to take advantage of the DRS and try to get past him for the net race lead? He can't quite do it. We've got Leon in the pits now for Mercedes, so Shadow is your temporary race leader, but an important point to take from those pit stops is that Hallett has got the jump on Skyline, and it was an overcut, so Skyline being held up by Miguel has cost him dear.
And Chris Hallett bidding for a move on the net race lead, but he can't get it done. He tried to, but it's too late. And El Pelota trying to play spoiler again, but this time in front of the leaders. It's cool, man. Will not be happy with that. Then again, people will say it is a tit for tat because Miguel did hold up Skyline in the first few laps of pit stops, and that actually cost the others dear, especially Skyline. But it looks like Skyline's now stuck behind El Pelota as well, and he's getting very frustrated with El Pelota. He's trying to get around him, trying to do everything he can.
Oh no, there's contact!
Oh, what he's doing! And he's hit Skyline and El Pelota, and he's spun. Who's to blame on him? Well, he did go on the inside there, but did El Pelota have every right to defend the position considering his state of play? I think that's going to be very controversial in the pits, and Skyline is up to 5th, but not in the way everyone would wanted to see it. El Pelota involved in another controversial incident, and Alex the G has been given a 5-second
Sorry to interrupt.
penalty.
Chris Hallett's got past Coleman for the lead, and Hallett's taking it. Hallett with the DRS open has got ahead of the Alfa Romeo driver. So Chris Hallett is through into the net race lead. That could be crucial for the championship. It's been quite a lap because Skyline lost a position to Janecki and another one to Yannick. So Skyline, after Chono's done his pit stop, will be in 5th place as Hallett sets a new fastest lap. So it's even more daunting now for Skyline to keep his realistic championship hopes alive. There's 4 races to go after this, but this is not what Skyline needed at this moment in time.
I think he might have got side pod damage from the incident with El Pelota. I don't see any notable damage, but you know, I think something could be slowing him down. He's just been overtaken by Yannick. By the way, Alex the G has been given a 5-second penalty for ignoring a yellow flag. Suspected illegal overtake under a yellow flag. May be reviewed at some point. Cherno, by the way, isn't pit yet. Is he trying the Alex Albon route to pit on the last lap and finish on softs again? Quite interesting if he does.
Well, I wouldn't have thought so.
Chris Hallett. Yeah. Chris Hallett in the net race lead now, and it has really started to open up, I should say. Well, I should say the gaps are much more widespread than they were before the pit stop, so Chris Hallett has arrived from the chaos in the lead with fresher tyres in Coleman and Janecki and Skyline. Yannick is on the same age of tyres as Chris Hallett. Leon, who pit later, has the tyre advantage here, albeit 1 lap or 2 in some parts. Skyline especially, and you know, they are starting to close up, but right now it's Chris Hallett versus Coleman for the lead, as it will be the lead now. Cherno coming into the pits. So Chris Hallett will officially have the lead again on track. Chris Coleman, and then Janecki, who is a few seconds behind. If we have a big battle for the podium could be building up here, as we have Miguel also coming into the pits. El Pelota is staying out again, so he is yet to pit as well. So I believe he's the only driver who is not pit yet, and he will come out. Cherno will come out in 10th place. Behind El Pelota and Boyolulu, but ahead of Miguel, who is yet to pit. Oh no, and Alex the G has left the session again. It's just been a nightmare. He's had a lot of connection issues over the season, and this just adds to it. It's just not been his season for the internet.
No, it hasn't, and it could have an impact in Red Bull's chances in the Teams Championship as well, because they went into the round 24 points behind McLaren. They really needed every point that they could get. At the moment, Skyline is running in 5th and Alex in 7th, and Alex has got a time penalty for overtaking under the yellow flags. So that could put paid to Alex's hopes of salvaging a good result out of this now.
So 1.1 second lead, that means no DRS for Coleman, but there's going to be DRS for Yannick and Skyline, who are chasing down Janecki for 3rd. Doesn't seem like they've made much impact with that assist though, as they approach the line for the 18th time this race. It'll be lap 19 when we come around, which is started by Chris Hallett, who continues to build his lead. Coleman starting to fall back, and this isn't a good sign. This is not good for Skyline either, as Hallett is going to extend his lead. At this rate, he'll have a 19, actually maybe 20 point lead over Skyline, should he finish in this way, which will be absolutely crucial for him. And of course, a race run is 16, the fast lap is 1. So to win the championship before the final round, I know it's round 7 of 11, but still, we have to do the math here. To win the championship before the final race, you have to lead by 17 points or more. Or 18 points, I should say, because 17 you could still lose the championship if you have less wins. And you absolutely bottle it in the last race, but we won't go down that route yet. Yannick closing down for a podium. Chris Hallett seems to be very comfortable in the lead. Kuhlmann struggling to catch up. Janecki trying to hold off Yannick and Skyline for third place. So I wonder what will come out of that. Meanwhile, I'm very curious what Elfwater is going to do next on these hard tyres. He's the only driver yet to pit.
Riding on board with Janecki's fending off Yannick and Skyline, who's just further behind. Janecki's done we haven't spoken much about Janecki during the course of this race, but he has kept his car very much clean all the way through it. He has been a reserve driver during the course of the season. If he was to finish where he is in third place, that would be his... I think, how many podiums would that be for Janecki? That would be 3 now for this season. But he's had a calm and collected campaign so far, picking up points everywhere he can get it, as Elfwater pits in, as he will go onto the medium compound tyres, although I think he may find himself in the steward's room after the race following his antics earlier with Skyline and also with Joey, which contributed to Joey's retirement, I'd have thought.
Yeah, and Joey has only finished 1 race this season, I think, and he didn't even score in that. It was Austria. It's just not been his year. Popular driver on the grid, but I don't think the races have been kind to him at all. And Janecki has a slide out of turn 9. And that's not looking good for him. Yannick will now seize the opportunity and try to get into the podium places. And he'll have a massive chance coming out of turn 13. Turn 12, I should say. The long turn 12, that is. Feels like it never ends, just like the first few corners. But here we go. This is Janecki's chance to take the podium. Can he make the move in time? He's closing, but it's not going to be close enough. No, it's not. You'll have to try it at the front stretch.
Yeah, and so Yannick is very much within range to have a go, but the question is, where is the best place to do it? Now, will he go for it on the pit straight? He's not using his ERS on the pit straight, but he may not even need it. As he looks to do the move, Janecki made his one move, going into turn 1, and Yannick just can't find a way through. So he sits in behind, in 4th position. Skyline knows he needs to... Well, I think the win is out of range for him now. It's the podium what he will be looking to go for, depending on how this battle between Janecki and Yannick pans out.
Yes, indeed. So that means it's looking very comfortable for Chris Hallett. He just needs to keep it together. He's extended the gap to 2 seconds. 3.2 for second place. It's Kuhlmann. But third place is far from safe for Janecki. Needs to keep it together. And plus, Yannick has a tyre advantage, so that's going to aid him very well. It could do. So it looks like the top 6 in contention, kind of like the real world as well. And 3/10 the gap now between 3rd and 4th place. Janecki and Yannick both begin with Jan, I should say. Quite an interesting fact to know. But here we go. Another opportunity for Yannick to enter the podium. If he can find the pace, that is. Doesn't seem like he's using any of his battery. I think he's going to just save it up. And same goes for Janecki. So Janecki trying to hold on. He got a second last week, and he wants to put another podium to it, and he's doing the job so far. Can he hold on together? That's the question. Another DRS zone coming up, and it doesn't look like neither driver wants to use their energy yet, and I think they're just going to dispose of it on the final lap. As he gets close once again, it nearly looks like touching the driver there, but it looks like he is alright. By the way, battle for 7th place between Cherno and Alex G, and that's because Alex G has still left the session. I completely forgot about that, and Cherno's just going to be handed 7th on the plate again.
I think I don't know if Alex has come in and said anything about the. So, in other news, in terms of the incident between Kyle and Boyalulu in the incident in at turn 1, I think what's happened is Kyle had suffered brake pedal issues, and he couldn't get the car slowed down into turn 1. So that's why maybe he was the one at fault for the collision between Boyalulu and not the opposite.
Yeah, I see. So, it's like Yannick will have another opportunity to take and he's much closer now. Defense from Janecki, it's not going to be enough. Yannick is going to take third place here at the Shanghai International Circuit, and that is a nice move for the Aston Martin driver. Janecki has no reply, or does he? Out he comes into the front stretch once again. Can he find anything? He's deploying his energy. He's going to go in for it. And he's back into the podium spots, but at what cost his battery? Yannick putting up a defense. And he goes wide on the corner. Is he going to try and move on the inside? No, he's not. And Janecki somehow holds on in that game of cat and mouse, but it's not finished yet. Yannick getting back into the groove. Is he going to make a move on the inside? I think that's his suggestion. No, he holds back. And all this is only helping Skyline, Tom.
It is, but Skyline's still behind these two, and it's allowing the top two to pull away even further as El Plota has set the new fastest lap of the race. He's outside the point, so he wouldn't get that point, but I'm sure he'll continue his pursuit of getting back into the top 10 with 6 laps still to go here. The battle for the podium places is very much hotting up. As you can see, Janecki nearly dropping it and running wide at turn 10. That won't help his chances of holding third place any good whatsoever, as Yannick looks to take advantage. He'll have the DRS on the back straight. They've got around about the same amount of ERS left on their batteries, but will Yannick decide to go for it here? He's got the DRS, and I think this is going to be a slam-dunk overtake unless Janecki decides to defend, which he does not do, and Yannick goes up the inside, and that is a change for third place into turn 14. Will Janecki fight back though? Nothing to respond for the time being. Yannick is through.
Yeah, Janecki got a bit of a bump on Yannick into turn 13, and that's not helping his cause at all, as now he loses ground and he doesn't going to make a move this occasion, or he might try something, you never know. But it's not looking good for Janecki as it stands. Skyline needs to get back into the game as well. It's not looking too shabby if you're Chris Hallett, though. 3 seconds is now the lead. It's looking like a runaway, but we don't want to go jumping to conclusions yet. By the way, Apple Loader pit on lap 21 for medium tyres. Or sorry, lap 20 I think it was, sorry. Lap 20. And now every driver's pit. No disqualifications are going to be handed out, thankfully, unless the game decides to glitch again. But Janecki now is starting to lose out, and this is not looking good. Skyline right behind him, but he's losing ground as well. It's looking better and better for Yannick, who, after an incident, lost his, I think it was 2nd place that he had at Azerbaijan, stripped away from him, and he's now wanting that back. The winner of the round in France also got pole position that race. He's had 1 pole position. One of the very few drivers to score pole position. I think we've had 5 different ones? 5 different drivers take pole position? 2, 3, 4. Yes. 5 different drivers have taken pole position, and Chris Hallett and Skyline are the only drivers to take pole position twice. So that's a fun fact to know. There's a battle now developing between Skyline and Janecki, Tom. 2 temps that have gone in between them now.
Indeed, and Skyline is running in 5th place. That would net him only 6 championship points, compared to his championship rivals Chris Hallett, who'd get 16 for taking the victory. As it stands, the gap at the top will increase to 19 points. That's more than a full round score in favour of Hallett. As you can just see, a time penalty has been given to Lakitu, presumably for track limits. So that might give an opportunity for El Piloto to get past and maybe try and get into the points. and go for a fast lap. I will tell you that Azim had come into the pits yet again, and he's gone to the soft compound this time, so he could well be the one picking up the fastest lap by the end of this race.
Yeah, and the battle continues between 4th and 5th. Earlier, Stunetsky was defending very well against Yannick, but it was all for nothing, and as a result now Skyline has an opportunity, but you remember Yanetsky's going to get the DRS as well, but he's opening up now. And how much is Skyline going to close? Skyline, by the way, has no energy. That's one thing drawing him back. Yanetsky and Yannick have energy on the tank, so they have the advantage. I've noticed, yet Skyline has been pressing his energy all along. He's absolutely not saving anything at all, and he's trying to push the button. It's ejecting nothing because he's got nothing. Demanglo actually is making a move for Miguel on 9th place. He's going to try a dive. No, he's not. He thinks better of it and stays behind. Oh, and right close to Miguel, I should mention now. And now he'll have a chance at making a move for 9th place. Demanglo, he gets wide though, and that's going to give Miguel a bit of breathing space for now. As Yanetsky's starting to close back up to Yannick, but Yannick's still holding comfortably, and we've got 3 laps to go here, and Chris Hallett comfortably in the lead ahead of Coleman and Yannick.
Yeah, and the battle for 3rd place will go right to the very end. 3 laps to go. I was just going to say it's been another low-key race for Demanglo after his shenanigans in Baku last week. Hasn't got any bad. There has been a few low-key races been involved in this season, I think. As Demanglo, he failed to score in Spain. Low-key drive in Austria, where he only got a point out of it, and oh no, but beg your pardon, he got 2nd place in Austria. My apologies, but he didn't score in Bahrain through shenanigans with other drivers. As Azim retires in the pits, so he will not get the fastest lap. I don't think he's got the fastest lap anyway, has he? No, it's still El Piloto that's got the fastest lap. So he's 1 position away, actually, is El Piloto from getting 2 points instead of 1. Should he get back into the points with the fastest lap? Azim retired in the pits, and I don't think he's going to be classified either, so that's him out.
Yeah, that's the end of Azim's Grand Prix. He's thrown in the towel, and we're down to 13 runners here with 2 laps to go. And it looks like the only battle we can see, as 2 battles I should say. Demanglo has got past Miguel for 9th place. Demanglo, of course, won in Singapore, and has not achieved pole position at all this season. He's also had a 2nd place at Austria. He's running down in 9th today. It hasn't been the best of days for him, especially with his quali bad, but he's going to score some points. That's something to take away from him. I'm not sure Alex G is going to be getting points because he has a 5-second penalty, and he's not been in the lobby for about 50 years, what seems like. So I don't think he'll get getting any points from this race by the sounds of it, due to the rules stating you have to be in the lobby for a certain amount of time racing and in control of your car. I think so. That means El Piloto may score, but then again, remember, he's had his incidents, so that might mean Lakisu gets points. The battle for 3rd, Skyline has fallen out of DRS range of Yanetsky, and that means Leon's closing up on him. So we're going to battle for 3rd and 4th, and a battle for 5th and 6th going on now. 2 separate battles. It used to be one big battle, but unfortunately after the pit stops, it all started to break apart, it seems like. And we're going to the final lap here. Chris Hallett in the lead. Dominant performance from him so far, despite the early setbacks. And now Yanetsky is going to have one last few chances, but he's got no energy, Tom.
He hasn't, and he's ran out of it. And I'll tell you that Skyline is struggling as well. Leon has kept some of his ERS in store, so he might just nick 5th place away from the Red Bull driver on the last lap. So they'll go down to the wire for sure. It's going to be on that back straight, I think, where we're going to see the overtakes being done. I think Yanetsky's chances are pretty much done, to be honest with you, because he's not kept hold enough of his ERS energy. Yannick has kept enough in there to keep hold of the final podium position. So the battle at the moment now is very much between Skyline and Leon for 5th place. We'll go to the leader very shortly, but just want to keep an eye out on this battle for now, as Skyline will be looking just to fend off Leon in the final moment of this race. As we watch them go through turns 9 and 10, Leon, I think, could well get the job done here as they come towards turn 11 now. We'll go to the battle for third place because Yannick is holding up Yanetsky as they go through turn 13 on the backstretch. I think Yanetsky's too far back. How is Leon's exit? Well, it's pretty good. We'll stay with it for as long as we can. We'll do it until Hallett has gone through the last corner because we need to go to him. Because they come towards the checker flag. I think Leon's too far back. Chris Hallett, for the third race in a row, wins in the PSGL. He wins the Chinese Grand Prix by a long margin by PSGL standards. 6 seconds clear of Coleman, who finishes in second place, and well deserved as well. Yannick on the podium ahead of Yanetsky. Skyline in a disappointing fifth ahead of Leon, who opens his points account finally for the campaign. Cherno will finish in 7th. There's a driver slowing down on the last lap. Miguel's run out of fuel by the looks of it. So Cherno will come through in 7th place. Alex will drop back because of his penalty. So Cherno will be 7th. So Demangle will be 8th. And El Plater got back into the points as well. So he will be 9th. So that's another point for him. Alex out of the points by the looks of it. Although Boyaloo has crossed over the line. So he might get that point instead of Alex because of Alex's lack of use of the car during the course of the race as it was controlled by the AI. But well done to Chris Hallett. It's a third race win in a row. And what a brilliant victory it is towards the championship. Logan. You can see the podium. Hallett coming out ahead of Coleman and Yannick. Championship very much becoming ever so near for him now. He could could he mathematically win it the next race? No, he couldn't, because there would still be 3 races to go, and he won't be able to amass a maximum score. Well, he would be able to amass a maximum score, but in terms of extending the gap as far as he could next race to win the championship, that's not possible for that to happen. But he won't be thinking about that too much at the moment. We'll be taking it one race at a time and celebrate the victory long into the night for sure. So your race result is this. Chris Hallett has won for pole position ahead of Coleman in second place. And it's Yannick third, Yanetsky fourth, Skyline fifth ahead of Leon, Cherno, Demangle, El Pelota and Alex running out the top 10. El Pelota getting the point for the fastest start. Miguel 11th ahead of Boyer and Lakitu. Azam is classified in 14th despite stopping with a few laps to go. Kyle and Joey did not finish. So, the championship is this. Hallett picking up 16 points, Skyline picking up only 6. The gap at the top extended to 19 points with 4 rounds still to go.
And Chris Hallett, who won the first race this season, now has won 3 and a bounce. 19 points the gap, as you said, and possibly could raise it up to as much as 36. Should he? Well, it's quite frugal. You have to everyone else not to score. Should he get a full docket of points in our next race, which I think is Mexico? Is it?
I think it's Saudi Arabia. I think, is it Mexico? I think Saudi Arabia maybe around 10. Let me just have a look to make sure of it.
Yeah, shuffled it up, haven't they?
So the next round is in Mexico, and then round 9 being in Hungary, round 10 Saudi Arabia, and then the last round will be at Interlagos, Brazil.
Need to get a mariachi band hired. I'm sure we've got something left in our budget.
Anyway, your last thoughts on today's race, Logan, before we decide to end the broadcast there.
Yeah, in all honesty, it was quite a race of 2 halves. The first half, it was just a 6-way battle for the lead. A very tactical battle too. And then it just started to open up, especially with Miguel getting involved. And he started to hold up some of the drivers. Of course, Epilota, I think, caused a lot of trouble for Skyline, especially that collision Epilota got involved in. Of course, that will be investigated by the stewards, I'm sure. But yeah, interesting race, but Chris running away with it right at the end. And it's showing his dominance, and he could be on the way to winning the championship with that performance.
Yeah, and it was a decent race after all. It would have been nice if we've got a few more turning up tonight, but it was a good race we saw between the top 6, and they pretty much kept it clean throughout. There will maybe be 2 or 3 investigations after the race, one involving Joey and El Pelota, which will most certainly be looked at because the driving standards from El Pelota in that incident with Joey was not on whatsoever, so he may have the book thrown at him for that, but I'm sure he'll confirm his case. because there may have been something before that we may not have picked up on during the broadcast. And there's also the collision between El Plata and Skyline, which I think will be looked at as well. And I don't think there's too much else, although there is the incident involving Kyle and Boyer at turn one, which the stewards
Yeah.
may decide that was, well, that's for them to decide in the next few days. Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll leave it there. Final mention to PSGL's title sponsor GT Omega. You can get 5% off on any GT Omega products if you use PSGL at the checkout. And do make sure you follow the PSGL's social media platforms, Twitter and Instagram. You can join the Discord if you ever so wish to do. There's the website as well, so you can keep up to date with everything that's happening in terms of what's going on. And that's pretty much that. Do make sure you like and subscribe as well. At the timing of broadcast, we have reached over 27,000 subscribers, and we're looking
Woo.
to increase that even more in the coming weeks before F123 begins. Logan, thank you very much for joining me, and we saw a
Thank you.
brilliant race today, and I'm sure we'll see more of it to come in Mexico next time out. I'm Tom Kent, he's
Absolutely.
Logan, and we'll speak to you again soon when the PSGL returns.
Night night.